You're not gonna freaking believe this. I was kind of banking on at least 2 of these deals to happen. Wow, still buzzing from that really, really good news. First of all, I'm shocked. We have 2. Good morning and welcome back to yet again another week of what I do as a technical recruiter in the technology industry at my own recruiting agency. Coming into this week, you know, if you saw last week's video, we're coming into possibly 2 offers that I'm just laser focused on. We'll see what happens there. I'm itching to kind of hear back from my educational tech client. We also have a couple other candidates for my fintech client that's slowly moving forward into the offers as well. So a lot of exciting things happening early week, and I just love starting a week with some good news, so could definitely use some. But other than that, we have 4 interviews today, a bunch of calls. We're rolling out another kind of engagement letter to a brand new real estate company here in local DC that might need help with some ops positions. And then aside from that, really just, gonna be focused on spending most of my time on prospecting and sourcing software engineering, really building that pipeline for all my clients. I will continue to also dive really, really deep on product roles, design roles, product manager roles. And there's just so much to do right now, but had a really well-rested weekend, ate a lot, rested a lot. I feel great and just excited to kind of make this an awesome week. So if you're tuning in, thank you again. If you want to make this the best week possible, if you want to really end Q1 off on the best foot possible, please consider liking, subscribing, clicking that bell. Really gives us the energy and focus that we need to just crush it every single day together. Feel free to also reach out to me here on Instagram, on our free Discord channel, and even comment down below. But other than that, got a lot to do today. We'll see you in a bit. You're not gonna freaking believe this. Oh my gosh. So speaking about an offer coming in, so we had a recruiter interviewing with this brand new education tech company, and he was supposed to sync up with other members of the team before he left on PTO this Wednesday, and then he should be on track of making a decision the following week. Now, the issue with him is that he's also interviewing with many other companies, so the competition's there. I left things on Friday with him pretty good, and basically he told me that the interview process went really, really fast, too fast, that he wants to speak with other members of the team, like any other stakeholders, definitely the CEO if possible, because who wouldn't want to sit down with a CEO again and have another conversation? And then I get this email like literally just moments ago from the CEO saying that they're choosing to withdraw from this candidate because of X, Y, and Z reasons. The number one is that he kind of found it disrespectful that the candidate wanted to speak with him again instead of the COO, who's going to be the direct hiring manager, and that, because they haven't gotten the references on time, like they're kind of taking that as the candidate's not interested and he's just trying to buy himself more time to get more offers and then accept obviously a higher offer. And as a result, they don't think he's that serious. And it's just a bunch of silliness because first of all, I'm shocked for a variety of reasons. Number one, we're working so hard to send them good people. And this is with an education company, provided they have an amazing mission, but they're looking and going after talent that are also going to get offers from most other companies in the tech world with equity and bonus. Our company does not offer bonus or equity, which makes them severely less competitive. The only thing that they have is the leveraging their mission, but like that can only do so much. And then other than that, they have to really get the salary up as much as possible. Oh yeah, and also with salary, when I initially talked to them, they're like, we want to stay with 150, 160. And then, I also talked to them on Friday. They're like, oh, we were very excited about this candidate. What is he looking for now? I'm like, listen guys, he's in final process with 3 other companies. And it seems like the offers that are going to come in are going to be probably around the 170 to 190. And so if you're going to make an offer, you need to come out strong as possible because you're not going to have bonus or equity. And a lot of these other companies can offer higher salary and bonus and equity. So I'm like, don't come out with 160. That's going to be laughable. And he's not really going to consider that. I relayed this to them and they said, okay, but then they included this email saying, he's well above our budget. But I'm just so frustrated because number one, we're working so hard to get them good people. They don't really see all the people that are telling us we need bonus, we need equity, we're not interested in their space. We ended up finding someone that he likes and everything is going really, really well. And I also responded back to the CEO saying, my candidate, he had the opportunity to cancel and stop the interview at every single stage, knowing that you guys cannot offer bonus. You guys did not have equity. And even last time I told to him, I was frank with my candidate saying, if all you're looking for is the highest cash, you should just stop the process with my client. Like, don't waste their time. But my candidate is genuinely interested in their mission. And he told me, like, if they can come just a little bit higher on salary, they're definitely going to be a strong contender. And I shared that with them. And then I also told them that, as to the point about the references, like, the reason why my candidate doesn't have references yet is he's still waiting on one or two of them to confirm, because he did not anticipate a lot of his interview processes, including with my client, to go so fast. So ideally, like, he would have loved to send it to my client on Friday, but he didn't hear back from the references. So he told me probably early next week, and it's now Monday. And I'm like, that's fine. For some reason, they got offended. My client got offended about that. And they're thinking, as a result, the candidate is intentionally dragging his feet and he's not serious. And I told him I disagree. It's so hard for this client to find good positions. And I knew that they used other agencies before. And I know that they had couple interviews, close offers before. But in this day and age, like, you have to be competitive as much as possible, and you have to make sure the candidate experience is as positive as possible. Because I told them, and I told my client again, like, every time we find a good designer or recruiter, they're gonna always have other offers with higher companies, higher in salary and higher in bonus and equity. Just because, like, you think that this, candidate is too high for salary, like, this is not going to be a one-time thing. It's going to happen every single time. So they have to change their mindset. They have to be more open-minded and do what they can to be competitive. But aside from that, they just have to make sure that things are positive. If they shut my candidate down right now, who's genuinely interested, it's just going to leave a really, really bad taste in my candidate's mouth. And it's going to make him look, and think badly, not of my client, but also with us too, that we're wasting his time. So I need to go back to the CEO and I need to push back and fight for my candidate. But, he just responded back to me, and literally just now, looking at it right now, and he said that, whether or not that he's wrong or right, he doesn't want to consider him. So it's just, it's going to be one of those things where now I'm like, wow, working with this client might be a lot more difficult than I thought. We have a lot to sell candidates on, specifically their mission, and their salary is reasonably competitive, but it's going to be difficult closing anybody who can easily get higher salaries elsewhere, but also have like higher back-end tools like bonuses and equity that will mean a lot to people as a whole package, instead of those that are just focused on salary, which that's all my client can offer. So I'm not like looking forward to letting my candidate know that he's getting rejected, and I'm going to be as shocked as he is hearing the news, because my candidate is coming to this week excited about moving forward with my client. Yeah, I don't know what to think about this. And like, it rattled me. It's making me sad and mad. Thinking about this, like, everything was looking good, and the client should be lucky to be in a stage where they can offer someone who's willing to stick it through to the end with them, not prematurely just let them go and they expect that they can find someone else. Like, I know this is a super important position and time is of the essence, but man, like, they can't just assume that, first of all, we can keep sending them amazing candidates. We just lucked out on this guy. And number two, like, just because something rubbed them off the wrong way, in this case, this was definitely a miscommunication, a confusion. They should just not terminate or prematurely terminate a process early, because they're not thinking about how that can blow back on them. As a small company, reputation is everything. And the last thing they want is to have another disgruntled or angry candidate coming out of the interview process negative and just spewing their experience to friends and family, their network, or online. Like, they don't need that. They don't want that. And so I'm just like disappointed in the founder that he's not willing to listen and reconsider and keep my candidate in. But oh gosh, not a good way to start a Monday, but just gotta take it and keep it going and see if we can find someone else. Like, I still think that they are a good company. They have a good mission. They're still relatively competitive. So it's all about finding someone, hopefully, that is not talking to this many companies, and then we can just move fast and just try to make an offer and see what happens. I think that's like the easiest thing right now. But seeing how the founder operated here, not a good kind of red flag for me. So it's definitely something I'm gonna have to be a lot more careful with navigating, working with this company. So right now we're working on product designers and recruiters 20%, so it could be fairly lucrative. And we were so close here, but man, not how I would have played it out. All right, so I just did a wonderful process call with my candidate for the copywriter position with the FinTech company. Everything's going well. This has been, I think, the third process call. He just heard back from my client on Friday that they want references, that he shot them over, and they should be going through his references right now. The only change here is that when we first submitted him, he said he was okay with about 70, 75, but he's like, you know what, after going through the interview process and getting a better understanding of the role, like he's now trying to target at least 80 to 90, which hopefully should still be within the realm for my client. I'm not 100% sure, but I did emphasize that they do offer bonus and equity and all that good stuff, but it seems like everything's going well. We can move forward to an offer. We'll see what happens. Hopefully we should hear back in the next day or two, but it's great to get another candidate in the references rounds and hopefully now zeroing on a successful close. Let's make it happen. Happy Tuesday afternoon. Been having a pretty jam-packed day today. We have about 4 interviews, about 8 candidate calls. Been really focused on software engineers, product and designers, and now recruiters. And so far been doing really well. As you remember hearing just moments ago, we have 2 possible deals that we're waiting on. One's for a copywriter role, another one's for a marketing manager role. Both are going through references, and if they go well, we expect to move forward to an offer. Was able to do a process call with both the candidates. One of the candidates, the marketing manager, has an offer, but they want to see what this offer comes out to, and just in terms of overall interest and career alignment aspirations, like my client is definitely scores a little bit more points in the offer that he has. For the copywriter role, he does not have any other interviews, so we're in a very strong position there. The only caveat is that when we submitted him, he was looking for 70, 75, and now obviously after going through the process, he's now looking for 80 to 90. I was able to clearly communicate both these back to the client, and then they respond that the range should not be a problem, which is really good. So we're progressing forward, ideally in a very smooth way. I think hopefully the chances of closing both, if not one of them, is pretty good. Again, anything can happen, so I'm just not getting my hopes up here. And then I have one more candidate call today, and I also just finished a Zoom call, a weekly check-in with my ADTECH client, going over roles. We're specifically focused on creative motion roles, in addition to product design roles. We were working an account director role, but I just heard back from the hiring manager yesterday that they decided to kind of put that on pause right now, or freeze hire, as you know, they are at capacity. So we're gonna slow that down. We're also working with their CTO to help them find engineering managers and engineers, but it's just like the flow has been not the most ideal. We submit people to them, and then it takes us forever to get feedback. We've yet to get feedback on people that we originally submitted about a couple weeks ago. So I had a frank chat with the internal recruiter and asked her, like, if there's any way we can update it. Can they have a point person in charge internally to review the resumes? Because at the end of the day, like, I'm all about the candidate experience, and that's my priority. And I just want to make sure that when we send people to our companies, we don't want them just to get lost or forgotten, because if that's the case, not only will my client lose out on good talent, but they also risk of my candidates having not a good experience, which is not a good thing that I want to happen for me as well as my client. Most importantly, like in this market, it's super competitive. So, if my team and if we're going to actually directly source and prospect candidates, if we find good people, I want them to have the best chance of moving quickly as fast as possible and interviewing, just overall having a condensed good experience. So right now I'm gonna watch how we can kind of improve or modify the flow. I'm not really happy with how it is right now. We submitted people 2 weeks ago and we only got feedback on one of them. And we have, I think, another 5 to 6 people that we're just gonna lose. So that's what's gonna happen. But aside from that, we are finalizing initial agreements with a commercial real estate company here in DC, in addition to waiting back from another much larger tech company that they need help with engineers. Been making also pretty good pipelines with engineers as well for all of the open positions that we're working in New York City remote. And so if you know of anyone or you are an engineer, ideally looking for anything from 2 to 3 years plus, all the way to senior. And if you have experience in JavaScript stack, specifically Node on the back end, or any modern day language, Python, Java, Scala, Ruby, that would be great. But most importantly, if you've come from fast-paced growing tech companies, that would be ideal. And most of the companies can pay from 170 to 200 plus bonus equity options on the back end. So it's really ideal. A lot of the positions are hybrid, a lot of the positions are remote. So if you know anyone or or you might be an engineer yourself, please reach out. More than happy to share more information with you. So as of right now, I've got one more phone call right now. Gonna do a couple big sourcing pushes later today to call it a day. But so far, it's been a good week, and I am eager to see how these offers come out.
But challenge that you encounter, Preston, is it's a new field, right? So if you do data product manager search, you might find very few candidates.
Option would be a current product managers now, but they had they worked as a data engineer, data architecture prior.
First preference would be if they are data product manager, right? The second preference are the people who are data engineer and data architect, and they want to transition into data product manager.
Okay, and how many years of experience do they need in data engineering or data architecture?
If they have done data architecture for 2 years, that is enough.
Okay. So I just got off the phone with my head of product at the AVIATION Tech. We were able to successfully place a product manager role with him. And now we're shifting gears and looking to help him with data product managers. So really currently targeting current data product managers right now out of technology software-based companies. But then aside from that, another profile is if they have experience working at data engineering or data architecture, but then they're willing and open to kind of look to convert to data kind of product management, then they would also be open to kind of chatting with them too. So this is like super, super cool. They're pretty flexible on the salary, which I love. They initially told me 160, 170, but then this is such an important position for them. So they told me that if we found someone a lot more senior, either in title, scope, or salary, that they'd be willing to chat with them first. So gonna be focused on that right now, but it's a really good. Happy Wednesday. I also just heard back from my ad tech company that they need us to temporarily pause on sending more resumes across all positions, which is not the greatest news. So I'm gonna have to kind of sync up with them, see exactly what's going on, because we have a lot of open positions and a lot of interviews happening specifically with them. So this needs to either be temporary, or I at least need to make sure all the candidates that are further going to process with them, that we can at least push them forward and they can be seriously considered, or most importantly, we can get paid if offers happen. So a lot to kind of gather in terms of information. We still have 3 more interviews today, about 3 more phone calls today, and all around everything's going really, really well. So now shift gears, data product managers, let's go.
This has happened before. I think right before we started using you, there was a freeze.
I want to make sure we have a lot of candidates late in stages that it'd be really, really, really bad to just stop out of the blue. So can we at least push and move forward with candidates that are actively in process?
That's what I'm pushing for, yes.
So this happened before, and it's kind of like a temporary freeze. So you don't have any confirmation there about whether or not they can move forward with other candidates, because we have a lot of designers and things like that in process. I would hate for this to stop.
Yeah, I don't want to pause any interviews that are already scheduled.
But you have no idea that how long this is happening for?
As of now, I know for like a month.
Oh boy, so I just got word from my ad tech client that they are temporarily pausing hiring for at least a couple months, which is not good because we have a lot of positions and a lot of candidates in process, and there's a lot of deals that we can lose immediately from the get-go, which is, oh my God, I hate it when this happens, especially when there's no forewarning. So there's not much I can do here. I'm gonna text the founder to see exactly what's going on, but I doubt she'll get back to me. But honestly, the only thing that can happen right now is really fight for the candidates that are in process. Typically, when this happens or something similar happens, companies are usually a little bit more willing and open to at least finish the process with candidates that are in the middle of it, because they know that if they just stop immediately, that's just gonna be horrible for the candidate experience. And that can just turn into a lot of different consequences and problems and issues and bad reviews that they just don't want to deal with. And I completely agree. That would be poor way of handling everything. Of course, it helps us, because I would love nothing more than for our candidates to actually move forward in process and finish the process and get an offer. So we'll see what happens. I mean, we've done a lot of sourcing for this company, and so I'm gonna have to maybe pause my search for the time being, but I was kind of banking on at least 2 of these deals to happen, maybe later this week or next week, and it's just, it might not because of the freeze. But this is something that happens all the time, and that's the issue of being an agency at a third party. You're at the whim of the company, and if you don't have any warning, you just have to adapt and you have to take the hits, and you got to stay positive and keep going. So not ideal, a lot of deals potentially lost, but I'm going to still fight for my candidates that are in process, because they're really, really good and they need to hire them, and they've been through all the processes, every single stage, in a very drawn out way. So we need to get this done. So hopefully I can go to bat for them. I think that the focus has been up until now on platform, because like that obviously is very, very important. They just want to make sure like, you definitely have that kind of relevant experience. But it also kind of assumes that everything else that you mentioned is also going to be part of the role too.
Candidly with you, I'm in the parallel process of interviewing with another company, and I should be getting through interviews over the next week or so. I know that they're going to be coming together next week and regrouping as a team to make a decision around me. I think the timing should work out fairly well, where I'm able to evaluate kind of both at the same time if both lead to offers, if that's where this is heading.
I just had a really good process call with a senior director of product for my health tech company, and we have a couple people late in stages. They have a long drawn out process, so we had a lot of people that we submitted, a lot of people that fell out, but her and a couple others are possibly in at the nearing the final round, and if this is even like possible, it could be a huge commission. So just checking with her. She has another competing company, surprise, surprise. She does have a few reservations about my client, so I'm gonna have to relay this back to them so that they can really address this directly with them. At the end of the day, our main role is to present as much information to our candidate, as much information present to our client, so that they can both determine is the either end the right fit. And we want to just be in a situation and create a situation where they both think and say yes to that. At this point, because it's so final, I'm also just encouraging my candidate that every engagement you have with the company, just honestly, just be honest and be genuine in terms of what you want, what reservations, like that can only help you at this point. Holding things back is just not gonna be helpful, so that we wanna make sure that all the information is accessible as possible, so that if we do get to an offer, it's starting off on the right foot and a good starting point, instead of like being something that's super low, way off, someone gets mad and then someone wants to pull out, and you just wanna just minimize that drama from ever happening. So far everything is going well. The team at my client has not yet given me the official green light if they want to move forward, but at least she's getting there. And so she's going to regroup with the recruiter tomorrow, and depending on how that conversation goes, she may or may not move forward. So fingers crossed, fingers crossed. All right, it is Thursday, almost 3:00 p.m. and I have some really, really good news. Now we have 2 offers, baby! They finally came in from my fintech company. It's Thursday, it should have came out on Monday, but a lot of the people on the team are out of office, which is the whole reason why for the delay. But man, can I close both? I don't know. I have no idea, but the offers have come out pretty solid. My copywriter wanted 70. They came out with 80, 85. My marketing manager wanted 124. The other offers 124. They came out OTE 125 and 130. So we are aligned. We are a little bit even higher than the other offers, or ideally their target. So on the surface, everything looks great. Now things are getting real. Can my candidate make a decision? Can they actually pull the trigger and getting a brand new job? I feel a little bit more comfortable, I think, with the copywriter position. I would love for them to do both, but now I need to follow up with both of them and see what we can do here. But if we can end this week with an offer, that would be absolutely incredible. So wish me luck. We'll see what happens.
I just have a lot to mull over right now. I have like 2 offers, and I have to think it over, to be honest. It's more of like the personal dilemma of, accepting the offer like a week ago, because ideally if both offers were in hand, like it would be a little bit less of a stress factor to go back to the agency that I already accepted with.
I'm not going to, you have to make that decision. I'm not going to push you in one way or another. What I want to do is, first of all, get you an offer and get you a competitive offer. And I'm really happy that, I think it's a very strong offer that came out. You have to make the decision yourself. And at the end of the day, whichever way you go, if you go in-house, you can always go back to agency in the future. If this was important for you, the possibility of going in-house was important for you, which is the whole reason why you stuck through the whole process. And now we got an awesome offer. And even though you got a verbal or written, you can choose what makes the most sense for you.
No, yeah,
right?
No, I've definitely had this exact same dialogue in my head since I got the email, since it actually manifested. It's like, okay.
At that point, I'm like, okay, cool. If you're still really excited, I want to do what I can to get you across the finish line as fast as possible. And that's what we've tried to do. And then of course, to help you make a decision, it's the options that are offered to you. You're not going to take a dip in cash. You're going to almost take a step forward, right? So I want to make that transition, if you choose to make it the most painless as possible. I just wish you got the offer a little bit sooner. But, again, the team really, really apologizes. It's nearing end of Q1. A lot of people are out of office right now for a variety of reasons. And they just try to did their best to kind of get this to you as fast as possible. All right, so that is one candidate with an offer. Now, he's in a very sticky situation, and yeah, I don't know, like he has an offer which he accepted. He just feels really, really bad. And so I'm just trying to be as sensitive as possible. I would never in any way want to push my candidate from backing out. Like, that's just bad practice. But like, he has been an agency his whole life. This other offers the agency. When I talked to him, the reason why I talked to him, he responded to my outreach, is that he wanted to change it up. For the whole process, we were neck and neck. He didn't really have an offer throughout the process, but then my client just took a little bit longer in the past kind of week and a half because like people are traveling, people are getting sick. And so the other company was about to kind of get an offer, and it was a strong offer. And he accepted because at that point he didn't know if my client wanted to move forward. And my client finally got back. He's like, I'm still excited, and let's just see how fast we can kind of take this, so that he can still, he gave them a verbal, he didn't give them a written. And now, like, fast forward, he got an offer Thursday. He wished he got it on Monday, but it's a strong offer. And so I told him, look, I can't tell you what I want to do. Like, I'm just doing my best to fight for the best offer for you, period. And you just have to do what's best for your career. If it's agencies, fine. If it's in-house, fine. Of course, secretly, like internally, I would love for him to accept the offer for myself, but I'm in no way trying to promote like practices that I would not look highly upon with reneging offers. Like, it happens though. Like, it happens a lot. I've seen it happen a lot this year. It's in a ridiculous competitive talent market. So we'll see what happens, but I'm going to be very, very like hands off, let him have space to breathe. But he's going to get back to my client, ask him if they can chat sometime today or tomorrow. Seems like the only question he has is about the 401k. He sounds very positive about the salary so far, and we'll see what happens. But if this goes through, like, hallelujah, that would be amazing. Congratulations!
Thank you so much.
We actually heard from them not too long ago that they want to move forward to an offer. And then obviously we kind of took our last conversation together into account and really go to bat for you. I know that when we first submitted you, we told them that you'd be looking for like at least 70, 75. But then, last conversation, you're like, hey, if they can get above 80 to 90, and that's what we did. We pushed back, we went back and forth, and I'm just really, really happy both options are above 80.
I think for an initial thing, that's like a phenomenal first offer. I really haven't had a chance to look too much at the specifics of it and read through the entire thing. I'm really happy with it.
Let's go. Candidate number 2 got an offer. Happy with the offer. Might have a couple questions. He's just super busy today, so he's gonna spend tonight mulling through the offer, make sure his questions. I also recommended that he reach out to them directly to schedule times that he can chat with them. I'm gonna sync with him tomorrow and see how we can do this. Can we pop 1-2 deals before the weekend? We'll see what we can do. Oh my God, this has been a long day, and I just need this to end well. Please, that'd be amazing. So it's been a long week so far. I still got a busy day tomorrow. Got a half day going into DC to run some personal errands. But man, 2 offers, need to close them both. I'm gonna do whatever it takes. Happy Friday morning. It is a nerve-wracking Friday morning. Why? Because I'm gonna sync up with my 2 candidates who got an offer yesterday just to see what's gonna happen. Most likely they're gonna have a lot of questions, and they're still gonna have to wanna connect with someone from the team. Or best case scenario, they're like, Preston, you know what? These offers are great, I accept, shutting down my search, bada bing, bada boom, done. Worst case scenario, Preston, I'm not gonna take these offers. So I know for sure that they have more questions. I don't know which way this is gonna play. I would be shocked if both of them rejected, but anything can happen in recruiting. We just work so hard to get offers out, and when offers out, it's never a guarantee that a candidate accepts. And when they accept, it's never guaranteed they're actually gonna start. So we'll see what's gonna happen. Got about 6 candidate calls today, about 3 interviews. So far, Good Friday. It's gonna be like a 3/4 day. Gonna have to leave early to do DC. Really hitting data product management hard from an aviation tech client. The CPO reached out to me earlier this week, and he pleaded and he begged if we can help them. And so really making an effort here to source, prospect, go through my database to see if we have anyone that could be a great fit, and hopefully send him some great people schedule ASAP. But right now we have a marketing interview, we have an ops interview, and we have a recruiting interview today. So hopefully everything goes well. And we're on track of making this a pretty solid March, end of Q1 here. But right now my focus, my nerves is on these two offers. And it's gonna be an okay Friday, it's gonna be a good Friday, or it could be a great Friday. So let's see what happens. All right, just got the phone with one of my hiring managers at a healthcare tech company that we're working on. As you may or may not know, we are sourcing and recruiting for their senior director of product. It's been a very, very difficult role. It's super high level, and the types of profiles and what this person needs to have done and the tools and experience is very, very difficult to target. But we've come to a point where we have a good handful of folks, late in stages, a couple in particular. They're really excited about one out of the handful. We haven't received or reached the offer stage yet, but she's planning on chatting with my candidate a little bit later today. And the whole purpose of the call is to kind of keep it casual and just kind of chatting like what they think they would like to do with my candidate. The team feedback has come in and it's been very positive, which is fantastic. My candidate is also just extremely senior. So, they were kind of thinking maybe she might be a better fit for a senior director role instead of a director role. With that comes more comp, more scope, more impact, and who wouldn't want that, right? So I think that could potentially be an exciting thing. I'm not sure if my candidate would be open to that, but it's definitely a positive thing for sure. My candidate also has a couple different reservations about my client, hoping they can kind of really iron that out together in the phone call today. My candidate is also moving forward with another healthcare tech company based out of California. She should be meeting their team next week, possibly moving forward to an offer next week as well. So we're kind of neck and neck in terms of process. And when I chatted with my candidate, she really liked my client, but had a couple reservations in terms of the scope of the role, what exactly will she be doing. And I hope that, again, a lot of the concerns can be ironed out and addressed at the phone call today. But I think from my last chat with my candidate, she seems very positive and very excited and hopefully still happy to kind of continue in the process. So yeah, it's just, making sure that we're all on the same page. Anything I was able to discover, I can share that with them, and they were able to share with me. Maybe, they can consider for a brand new position, something more senior, and that they would love to run it by my candidate. I'm like, yeah, go for it. Even if we do get an offer, especially with this particular candidate, they do have another competing company that they're in process with as well for also a senior director role. So at least I'm glad my client is considering senior director role instead of a director role. And both are kind of in the healthcare tech, very mission-oriented space. So it's going to be very, very, very close. And I don't know how my candidate's going to play this new possible trajectory of a new position, but I hope that it goes well. All I can do is send my good prayers and vibes and thoughts, and we'll just see what happens. But yeah, it's one of those things where it could be such like a really, really one of our largest placements. But again, just trying my best to keep my emotions in check and not be too excited, because, in recruiting, again, anything can happen. So I don't want to just celebrate before it's signed, sealed, and delivered. So at least it's moving forward. But again, this is something that we've been doing for months and months and months. And a lot of people didn't go through. A lot of people haven't even made this far, but at least team feedback has been positive. So I'll take it. In recruiting, when your sole purpose is to find people new jobs and you talk to hundreds of people, maybe a week or hundreds a month, it's sometimes, I think, easy to forget that the people who you're speaking with, the candidates who are thinking about changing their job, that in it of itself is extremely stressful, right? Like if you've ever gotten a new job, it takes not only a ridiculous amount of work and persistence to even do your application, send them out, but then also just a lot of time management and investment, whether it's time or psychological or emotional, just going through multiple interview processes. So I think as recruiters, it's still very, very, very important and should be a priority to really try to connect with your candidate, empathize with them, and try to see yourself in their shoes. Because if you can do that, then it's going to really make you feel bad if you're coming in super aggressive and really pushing and using all these like really, really aggressive tactics to make a candidate make a decision. Of course, at the end of the day, we would love nothing more for the candidates to accept the job with our clients. But imagine if you were in their shoes and someone was doing the same thing to you. How would that make you feel? And so a big part of, helping to make sure that you can continue to provide top candidate experience. A lot of that is very, very helpful if you're just seeing it from their point of view. Just treat them the way that you want to be treated, because it's very, very easy to forget that we're actually talking about people when you're talking to people every day, because that's all we do. We speak to 20 to 30 people a day, hundreds a month, and like we can kind of forget that we're actually speaking to real human beings who have feelings, who are juggling all these interviews on top of life commitments, on top of anything else going on in their personal lives. All we want is for them to kind of go to the next interview round to get an offer and then accept, right? It's very easy to forget that they have a whole life outside of interviews, and that they're juggling and they're going through a tremendous amount of short-term stress and anxiety to kind of make these happen. So that's why it's our job to make sure that their experience is as smooth as possible. You know, really follow up, really listen, really any questions or concerns, let's do whatever we can to get those answered. Again, a lot of what can help for you to provide the best experience is to be empathetic, be considerate in terms of what they're going through. The better you can do that, the better you can connect with them, the better you can listen to them, and the better you can provide the best service so that ultimately they can go through an amazingly positive experience, hopefully get their dream job with you, and call it a day. So that's my biggest tip for everyone. And this is something that I'm also constantly reminding myself to do as well. The same can also be applied to companies and hiring managers. You know, hiring is also very stressful. It takes up a lot of time of you and also your team members. You know, the more you can also empathize with the hiring managers and the founders, that they have so many other things to worry about other than your candidate, you know, would also make help you like not come off like too sharp and too edgy and too just ridiculously aggressive, where you kind of turn them off or give them a bad experience. So connect, empathize, you know, try to put yourself in people's shoes on both ends, and hopefully that can help you provide better value and ultimately a better experience with everyone that you work with.
I feel like I'm going to accept if we get it to a good point, but I'm not in a rush to be like, all right, let's get this signed like today, because I know that have probably by like middle of next week, we'll get to a point where like I have answers to all the questions with them being out of office and all that. So I think it's close. I'd like to see if I could get a little bit more. Obviously I don't want to sound greedy, but I do think it's close to where I'm at. But
yeah, I mean, are you thinking that you possibly want to negotiate?
I'd love to do, I'd love to shoot for like 96, just to aim for it. And if they come back down, I'll see where we can land. But one thing that I was really thinking is, any bonus I've ever gotten is always zero until I actually get it. So I'd hate to sign on thinking, okay, well, I'm accepting 80 or I'm accepting 85, knowing that I'll get a bonus. And they may say, hey, it hasn't been as lucrative of a year as we thought it'd be, so we're not going to be able to do a bonus this year because then I'm losing out on.
You're ideally looking for 70, and then we went to bat for you that ideally you'd be looking for 80 to 90. I think if you were to ask for 96, they might be very surprised about that because they stretched their bands internally to accommodate for your 80 to 90 requests. So like,
sure.
Are you not happy with 80, 85?
No, I am happy with it.
Okay.
It's one of those things where you always gotta shoot for the stars a little bit. I'm leaning towards 80, 85 now, but it depends on the stock valuation answer.
Obviously, you want to maximize their salary, but a lot of people, are happy with a competitive salary, knowing that they also have other elements like the back-end equity that can be significant for you, right? So right. I just want you to kind of be in the best position. I'm all about negotiating, but I think you can totally ask for 96, but that's like another 10K on top of them trying to stretch for you. So like,
yeah, and again, if they can't do it, it would not be a deal breaker for me.
Hello. So we were not able to close that deal. It's still alive. It looks like he wants to negotiate even more. I don't know if he's just trying to shoot for the moon here. I mean, I'm all about negotiating, but I don't want him to surprise my client in a way that it turns them off or like he's coming in super, super aggressive. So we'll see what happens. But he has a bunch of questions. I did my best to answer them. There are a lot of them around being a remote first. Do they have plans to open up an office in New York? And if so, will he have to reload? Will they assist with that? PTO, health benefits, equity, how does that work? On top of negotiating. So he still has a lot on his mind. So It's not at a point where, he has everything answered and he can make a decision. I gave him an email to his direct hiring manager in addition to the head of recruiter, but she is traveling this week, so they're not going to be able to chat on Monday. So I have plans to reconnect with him on Monday to see if everything's good and we can kind of close this. But unfortunately, we cannot close that today, which makes me sad. At least it's alive and, he's excited and he wants to push things forward. He did say that he's in no rush, and it's not really the language you want to hear when someone has an offer. Like, you want people to be excited to make a decision, not like, hey, I have an offer and I'm in no rush to make a decision, la 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 la, wait 2 or 3, 4 weeks. No company wants to kind of go through that, but I'm hoping that after he speaks with the right people on Monday, he can get a lot of his questions answered, he can feel good about it, and hopefully he can make a decision. So 0 for 2 today.
Yeah, I did. I think everything looks good. I think the only other thing I was going to ask about is I saw that there was 18 days of vacation, and I honestly if I even use half that, I would be surprised every year. I don't know if that was a negotiable thing. I feel like most companies do some type of PTO system, but yeah, no, I think it all sounds pretty good. I've just been having the mental conflict of contacting the last agency, but I do really think it's probably a better move. I guess, if they send a written offer, I'll sign it, and I guess I'll have to go back to, the dreaded conversation of just letting that agency know.
Please go out tonight, or I don't know, get some good food or drinks on me, and you deserve it. You went through the whole process, and I'm really, really happy and excited for you.
Thanks, man. Yeah, thanks for duking it out. And I think it's time for both of us to celebrate a little bit. This is super exciting.
Oh my God, he accepted! Yes, let's freaking go. It always feels amazing when somebody accepts, and this was one for the books. He had another offer that he tentatively accepted. I just took this very, very careful. I did not, and nor do I ever endorse people reneging on offers. It's unorthodox, you shouldn't do it. But if the candidate really firmly believes that another direction is the best way for his career, I will at least do what I can to kind of fight for him, get him through the process, and just see what happens without really doing that much pushing or selling, and just really giving him that space to make the decision. It could have easily gone one way or another, but because he has background as the agency, he wanted more in-house. This was the in-house opportunity. We fought for a better salary. He got equity. He has a great PTO, and he knows the company's at a great trajectory to a feasible exit, not to mention great work-life balance and all the other amazing things that my client offers. Whether he stays there short-term and moves to another company or stays there long-term, he knows that's the right move for him ultimately at the end of the day. So he's about to send an email to verbally accept, and once that's done, I'm going to send him the offer to sign. So we're 99% there. Anything can happen. You could get a counter offer from this other company, and he's like, Preston, I changed my mind. I hope that doesn't happen. Or he doesn't start. I don't know. But until he starts officially, anything can still happen, but we at least have an official verbal acceptance. He just sent the email. I'm gonna just be watching this throughout the next couple weeks. But man, an offer on a Friday. This one was a bigger one than my previous candidate this morning, so I'm happy that we got this one out of the way. Would have wished the other one to also have a verbal, but we'll have to wait until Monday. And if you're curious to see what happens, make sure you tune in and watch next week's video. But man, what an ending to the week. I am super pumped. This is why I love what I do. He's excited for his job. He's excited for his career, and he was being genuine. He was an awesome person to work with. And I know that my client is gonna be pumped to work with him and do some great stuff. So helping company find a rock star, helping candidate find a job they're excited about, that is what makes it fulfilling. It's not so much about the deal. It's not so much about the money. It's about really providing value to people so that they can make positive decisions, big decisions in their life. And you just had a small part to pay for it. So boom, happy Friday from a happy recruiter. And let's just keep finishing this day. A couple more interviews, a couple more emails. See you in a bit.
So my only hesitation is the agency work. I am comfortable with doing both because I do have a strong background in agency work. But because I've been trying to move away from agency work, that's kind of my own
hiccup is the other positions right now is currently just product.
Hopefully, if we ever do get to an offer, it's very important that you and I connect so that if you want to negotiate, go to bat, or have questions, we can, of course, help you navigate those final 10 yards, okay?
Okay, that sounds great. Yeah, thank you so much. And
all right, did a process call with a product designer for our ad tech client. She's slowly moving forward the process. Seemed like she had a great conversation. And then she requested to talk to other members of the team, which is completely cool. She did ask me how did the team feel? Sometimes when you're a candidate interviewing, it's hard to understand how the team and a company actually feels about you. And so that's one of the main benefits of working with a recruiter is we're able to get third-party point of view, and we're able to kind of get objectively feedback from the client that it's been just really positive. So I was really happy to hear. Only issue is that her other processes are more product in-house focused, while my ad tech is more agency focused, and she kind of wants to get out of the agency work. It's gonna, again, be a very, very tricky one. It's gonna come down to the offer. It's gonna come down to the team. It's gonna really come down to all the other offers on the table and see if we can push. But honestly, everything's going well so far. This one will be pretty tough because it is not in her ideal kind of track that she wants to do in terms of her next role, and the others are. So we'll see what happens. Fingers crossed. Wow. Happy Friday. And I'm still buzzing from that amazing news that we just had earlier. Just having an offer accepted is the best feeling in the world. On the flip side, having an offer rejected is the worst feeling in the world. And either way, you just have to accept it and be grateful and never take anything for granted. Really thank the candidate, really thank the client, not let it get to your head too much, and then just reset and find and on to the next one. But this was a careful situation where I had to navigate very carefully. Ultimately, if a candidate did not accept an offer, we can try to push, we can try to just really sell the opportunity. But in this case, all I want to do is, he told me throughout the process, he loves my client. He wants to finish the process. He wants to see what kind of offer he got. And so that is the only support that we did here. And I was very, very careful because I don't want him to walk away saying, Preston pushed me. I just wanted for him to choose ultimately what he wants to do. And he decided that, doing this would be the best direction for his career, period. And so, yeah, really excited. And I'm feeling pretty good about the other offer. But again, anything can happen. We'll see what happens. But at the same time, as you know, if you've been watching before, just because someone says yes, just because the verbal is done, to me, in my mind, you're 1/3 of the way there. 2/3 would be if he signs the written, and the third would be if he actually starts. And until, the end, anything can happen. So I'm holding my breath a little bit, not getting too celebratory, but I'm still really happy that we have an offer accepted midday on a Friday. And overall, it's been a great week. We have basically 2 more weeks left of March of Q1. I'm actually traveling next week. So gonna try my best to kind of shoot that as well, and also just enjoy some little time off from working my butt off this entire quarter. As I'm starting to feel it, recruiting is extremely fulfilling. It's very fast paced. You have to adapt in terms of whatever situation scenarios are thrown at you, and then you just have to do your best every single day. And people that do well are able to stay consistent. At its core, recruiting is not rocket science. You gotta have, especially if you're working a full desk, you gotta really stay on top of your clients, your candidates, stay on top of your pipeline, and just be consistent every single day. Do the same thing over and over again. Just don't do a huge spike one time and then fizzle out. You wanna be consistent with the basics every day. And if you can do that, you can continue to provide value, and over time you can continue to improve and get better in terms of your processes and how you connect with candidates and clients, and results will start to happen and compound. And that's hoping what I can show you. But with every profession, you have curveballs, you have scenarios, you have difficult moments that you feel like you got punched in the face or in your stomach, and you just have to get up and stop feeling sorry for yourself and just understand it's part of the game, and you just have to move on. And if anything, it'll just make you stronger and make you smarter from learning from that experience. And if it happened again in the future, you know exactly how to handle it. But I am blessed, I'm grateful. It's a great way to end the week. We have a lot of really good candidates that are moving forward in process, particularly the senior director candidate this earlier today that I interfaced with my hiring manager on for my client health tech. And that could be a massive role, but we also have a lot of great engineering and product management, product design, recruiting candidates that are also just doing really, really well. So I'm expecting to continue to have good momentum into next week and hopefully to finish Q1 on a really, really good note. But if you've been watching up until now, like, again, just thank you for the bottom of my heart. It really means a lot, especially to those that made an effort to reach out. From there, I've created a lot of great partnerships with people that we're working together on, whether people are helping us on the client side, or people are helping us on the candidate side. If you're an experienced recruiter and you want to work for yourself, or you want to make another income, or you're someone who wants to pivot and change their career into recruiting, I've been having the amazing opportunity to meet with so many amazing people, especially if you're recruiting right now. If you're good on the client side and you're really good at developing your businesses, there's so many ways that we can partner. If you have hard to fill roles that you've been struggling with, please reach out to me. There's so many ways you can partner and help each other out. Or if you're really good at sourcing and prospecting, you have a really good database, there's a lot of great candidates and you want them to find more options to interview, please reach out as well. There's so many ways that we can help each other out. Aside from that, please always feel free to reach out to me, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, or most importantly, our free Discord down below. It's just an amazing free online community where recruiters around the world or people who are like-minded can just ask questions, help each other out, and just share their perspectives on all matters. It's not centered around me. It's just, I want to be like a really cool, safe space for other talent acquisition, headhunters, other recruiters in different industries to just congregate and have a good time. And feel free to also reach out to me there as well. But if you've been watching up until now, I just want to thank you so much. And I just want to return the favor. And I really hope that you guys are doing well in whatever business or line of work that you are in. And I hope that the month of March, the last month of Q1, is going really, really well. But if you are as focused and excited and inspired to finish this quarter off just like me, please consider liking, subscribing, clicking that bell. It really means a lot. And again, it will give us focus and good vibes and good energy so that we can continue to work hard, be safe, be healthy, and hopefully bring on some amazing results together. So aside from that, I'm gonna call it an early day today. Like I said, have to run errands, but I really appreciate you watching. It's always a lot of fun making these videos, but it's even more worthwhile and meaningful to hear from you. So if there's any other videos I can make, I do my best to listen to every single comment, and I will do my best to respond back to you. And of course, add a lot of the requests and questions that you may have in future videos. So this is me signing off for Friday, going to enjoy the rest of my day. We got a verbal offer today, guys, and I'm super pumped about that. And you're gonna celebrate tonight, over the weekend, and we'll see you on next week in a new location. Have a good day.